While you guys were in the break, we were talking a little bit about helping other communities outside of Nashville. I know I've done stories in Wilson County and where some advocates have come forward saying we wish we had a shelter or something here. What is your opinion on expansion?
Well, first off, I think there are some wonderful agencies in Wilson County, Williamson County, and other places as well. We work well and work closely with a lot of them. But I think the future for impoverished folks and people that may be on the edge of homelessness, I think the future is for us to really kind of meet them with their need where they are, instead of forcing them to come downtown Nashville or in the men's center or the women's center to receive the help that they need. So I think long term we're talking about strategizing about having satellite centers out in some of the more needier areas to where we can provide food assistance, find clothing assistance and help, and eventually even shelter if need be, to where they don't have to be forced to come downtown to a population of 800 or so people. We can meet them right where they are in their community and provide some assistance and help right there. I think not only is that the future of Nashville, I'm seeing that across the country when I visit different cities and shelters. I've seen that is actually already taking place in some large metropolitan areas.
I said Wilson, but I meant Williamson. I actually just did a story with a pastor down there several months ago, and he wanted to build a homeless shelter. And then months after the story aired and the paper covered it, he got an anonymous $250,000 donation to start a shelter. So I guess there will now be one in Williamson County.
Yeah.
But I misspoke. I said Wilson. I guess maybe there is one in Wilson County, a homeless shelter or there are ministries there, and we're working with the folks there in Williamson County as well in that particular shelter. And so you're right. I mean, it's all these communities, Clarksville, Murfreesboro. We're working with Murfreesboro group right now that is putting a shelter in place there in Murfreesboro. So instead of forcing people in Murfreesboro or Clarksville or Williamson County to come downtown Nashville, let's put some places out here to really meet them where they are. We do have Thomas. Thomas, you have a question tonight. You're up on OpenLine.
Yeah, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. I got just one question I want to know. I'm a bus driver here in town, and I had a busload of your people last week. I came from the room at the end to the Catholic Church in Little Belmont. When they loaded the bus, 3 of them in there coughing really bad. And I just got to wondering how I unloaded them. I asked the guy at church, told him about it, and I just want to know if you folks are checking these people for like anything that could spread, tuberculosis. That's airborne there.
Yes, it is.
That's what I wanted to find out.
Yeah, it's great point. We do have a medical clinic at the Rescue Mission, a medical and dental clinic at the Rescue Mission, where we can take people in, both of their own, but if we suspect something, or coughing and carrying on. But you're right, tuberculosis is a big problem in homelessness, and we have to stay very in tune with what's going on in that situation. There are some communities that require a tuberculosis test and a clearing before you can access any of the services that the city has in the shelters. I came from one in Oklahoma City, and we had 16 cases of tuberculosis in Oklahoma City, which is an epidemic. And so we instituted a plan to where they had to be tested and cleared tuberculosis before they could eat food or receive shelter or any of the services there in Oklahoma City. We're not at that place at Nashville right now, thankfully, but we have to stay in tune with the health department and so forth, and we do that. We've had other situations with the health department that we're very aware of, and work very closely with them and monitoring the situation. And thankfully, we do have the medical clinic on site, and there's also one at Room in the Inn, which is very close to us as well. And so really caring for them and their medical needs as it happens.
Another caller, Tom, you're up. If you have a question, you're on OpenLine.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay, I live in Sumner County. Is there any way that could be expanded to a city that has nothing available?
Tom, I mean, you're actually speaking to my heart for the future, because you're right, there isn't anything really available in Sumner County. And so that's one of the situations where if you're in need, whether it's hunger or shelter or clothing, then we're asking you or forcing you by the system to come downtown Nashville. So there isn't a place right now, but in the future we would like to look at Sumner County in strategic locations to be able to place a center of assistance so that you can meet you right where you are with your need, your neighbors and your friends and so forth. And so you're hitting the point that we're talking about.
What would it take to get those satellite campuses? Is it funds, or what would it look like? Would it be a small office and a small shelter? Kind of what would you envision?
Well, I think so, the beginning of that, but it'd certainly be food. The number one need that people have before they actually are given into homelessness is helping with their utilities and food. And so oftentimes they may have an apartment, they have a place to live, and they let the mortgage go, or they let the rent go, or they let their utilities go. Then they have to catch up with that. They have to make difference or choice between food and the light bill. We want to help them with the food and your light bill so you can stay home and not be homeless. And so I think the future for us would be an office with a food closet, with clothes, with utility assistance and things of that nature. And then eventually there are homeless people in Williamson County. There are homeless people in Sumner County. There are homeless people in Robertson County. So to be able to find some shelter assistance for them without forcing them to come downtown would be the long-term plan.
I know around the holidays you guys have some events. Do you have anything coming up?
Oh my goodness. We are event heavy right now. And so we have right now, tomorrow, in fact, we have an all-day radiothon with the Fish radio station here in town. So they're doing a radiothon for us. And then this next week, we have a Monday, we have the Cumulus radiothon, which Super Talk 99.7, and so they do that every year. And then on Tuesday is the world famous now Tracy Lawrence Turkey Fry. And so we'll be frying about 500 turkeys in the parking lot of Nashville Rescue Mission downtown. Tracy and his friends come out, bands and groups and celebrities and hockey players and football players and cheerleaders. It's a great atmosphere of really frying the turkeys, over 500, and preparing those for the next few days at Nashville Rescue Mission to be served to the hungry folks among us. And so that happens. Then on Wednesday, we have a graduation from our program. And so all the folks that are graduating from the program on November will be honored on that day. And then we have what we call the Great Thanksgiving Banquet. And then we turn around, obviously, and do that the next day on Thursday. So every day from here on out through the end of Thanksgiving is just going to be one activity and event right after the other. A really exciting time.
That's awesome.
And I tell you what,
$700.
Oh, sorry. Cecil accidentally punched your line. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
Cecil, do you mind muting
right.
your television so you can ask us a question?
No, I don't. I don't mind at all.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Cecil?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go ahead and ask us your question now.
Okay, I just have a question. I'm homeless here in Nashville, Tennessee. Me and my girlfriend. And we're trying to get affordable housing. We found a place to move into, but it's $700 and we don't have it. We want to know if there's anything that we can do to get help to get it.
I'll let you answer that. Is there any housing assistance programs for Cecil and her girlfriend? And I know having a family or a partner and being homeless, it's sometimes difficult to find a place that you can stay together.
Cecil, I would just encourage you, if you obviously have a telephone, so you call tonight, encourage you first thing tomorrow morning to call Nashville Rescue Mission and ask to speak to one of our case managers to say, hey, this is Cecil. I talked to Glenn last night on TV, and he told me to call and speak to one of our case managers. And so you're actually responding to one of the topics that we talked about earlier about affordable housing. Some people think $700 a month is affordable, but it's really not with the population that we're talking about. So working with our case managers, which are helping people get into housing every single day. So I would encourage you to just make that phone call to Nashville Rescue Mission. Call them and say, Glenn asked me to call and speak to a case manager, and I want to talk about housing opportunities and maybe getting rid of some of the barriers to do that. So good luck to you and your girlfriend, and appreciate you calling in, and again, you're helping to prove a point that we talked about earlier.
In one of the breaks, I think we were talking too about Safe Haven, where families can go who don't want to be split up in a shelter situation.
Yeah. So Safe Haven is a wonderful place in town where intact families, which would have a mother and a father and children, can go. We have right now about 60 children at the Rescue Mission, which are with their single moms. And so we do have a place for single mothers and children, which is particularly what we're built for right now. But Safe Haven has a place for the intact families, and so we work very closely with them and even take the families there if necessary to be able to get the help that they need.
Do you hear other stories like Cecil's? You know, we have a place we want to live, it's just rent is so expensive here. I mean, I grew up here, and it's just crazy when I moved back and people were telling me the rent prices. It was just like, I couldn't believe it.
Right. And, you know, gentrification sets in, which is, you know, a neighborhood that would have nominal or affordable housing before, then piece by piece people sell their house or so forth, the taxes raise, and then all of a sudden now they're, you know, $400,000 and $500,000 homes. And so that happens, and we hear that a lot. And so, you know, Nashville really has come together and recognized that we have an issue with affordable housing. Now it's putting all of our thoughts and minds together and best efforts together to do something about it. And I think with our new mayor and different city council members, I keep hearing that is a major emphasis of ours going forward in the future. And so that excites me.
Thanks so much, Glenn. It looks like it's that time now for a commercial break, but I hope you guys will stay with us. Thank you so much for your great questions already.